Do you ever question if you're doing back bends correctly? Well, most of us tend to take advantage of our lower back's ability to bend that way, but then we forget about the rest of our spine. Today is day 2 of our Yoga for Spinal Health Challenge, and we are going to examine how to safely come into back bending postures. This means paying extra special attention to our lower back lumbar area of our spine. Go ahead, roll out your mat, and I'm going to roll the intro screen. Hello, magnificent human beings. My name is Landon Slaughter, helping you discover that fun and consistent at-home yoga practice. Let's dive right into things, and unfortunately, we need to talk about what not to do first in your back bends. Do not isolate and bend just in your lower back. We often risk Do not isolate and bend just in your lower back. A back bend includes your entire spine. Oftentimes, we just kind of isolate and bend in one area and forget that we have the rest of our backs. Now, this becomes difficult to do, but over time, with practice, it will get better. This is a little hard to demonstrate, but I'm going to do my best. If we look at wheel pose, you can see there's a lot of bending in my lower back, but my mid back is pretty much a straight line. Your middle back, also known as your thoracic spine, doesn't really get a lot of attention or movement in our day-to-day lives. The main point I'm trying to make is this, is that instead of relying on your lower back to bend and do all the work, try to create space in your mid back by lifting your heart and encouraging more of an equal back bending throughout your entire spine. And this is difficult, right? Even in that demonstration, you might not have noticed too much of a difference between what I was doing before and what I was doing after. It's because lifting that heart and creating that thoracic flexibility is pretty difficult, and this will be a long journey. Standing on up at the top of our mats, we will begin. Go ahead and heel toe your feet together, roll your shoulders back. Gotta warm up that spine with some full body breath. Go ahead and close your eyes, roll your shoulders back, and let's take a couple breaths. Inhale through your nose. Exhale out your nose. And again. Good. And thinking about that intention, bringing something positive, uplifting, healthy into mind. Today is all about those healthy, safe back bends. Maybe sending some love, some of that good energy to that low back. Good. Once you have your intention, we'll seal it with 3 cleansing breaths. So go ahead and inhale through your nose. Inhale, inhale, inhale. Hold. Exhale out the mouth. Good. Inhale through your nose. Inhale, inhale, inhale. We hold. And exhale out the mouth. Excellent job. Once more. Inhale through your nose. Inhale, inhale, inhale. Hold, hold, hold. Side out. Good. All right. Open up your eyes. Go ahead. Inhale, hands up. Squeeze your glutes to protect your low back. Very gentle back bend. You don't have to come far. Good. Inhale, hands up. Exhale, forward fold. Come all the way down. Fingertips on the mat. So our forward fold counteracts that back bend, warming things up. Shake your head out. Good. Inhale, half lift, lengthening through your vertebra, right? And then exhale, forward fold. Come on down. Stacking vertebrae on top of vertebrae, slowly rounding, gently coming all the way up, hands up overhead, sigh. Then inhale, hands up. Exhale, come all the way down. Nice, flowy, gentle, full body breath. Slow inhale, half lift, lengthen. Exhale, forward fold. Good. Chin is the last to rise, gently rolling up one by one, all the way up. Hands up overhead. Squeeze your glutes. Exhale, back bend. Inhale, hands up.
Exhale, we fold. Come all the way down. Good. Gonna flow through this one more. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, forward fold. Good. Chin is the last to rise, gently coming all the way up to standing. Hands up, overhead, sigh. Inhale, hands up. And exhale, we fold, coming all the way down. Good. Hands on the mat. Come on back into downward facing dog. Excellent work. Walk it out. Pedal things out. Moving it around. Good. In our first day, we had that block between our legs to kind of help lift that tailbone, squeezing those inner thighs just a little bit, stretching out that back. Good. Weight shifts forward into plank. Lower down to your knees, heels to your glutes. You can lower part way out into chaturanga, release your legs, and then raise into up dog. So hold in your up dog. Now, if you feel a lot of strain in your low back, you can come down to your knees or engaging, lifting, lengthening. From here, push back into child's pose. Good. Release, relax. Getting a quick sip of water if you need one. So we need to revisit up dog real quick because I think most folks feel that up dog is kind of a back bend, which it has properties of a back bend to it, but it's about lengthening through your spine. I think this is where people get up dog and cobra confused, and we're going to do both of those poses in today's flow. So go ahead and come forward into that up dog position. Just kind of get comfortable with it. Bringing those hips down, right? So if you just press back, then you're coming into that back bend, rather engaging through your legs, knees lift, and it's almost like you're going to drag those feet forward on the mat. So you don't quite drag those feet forward, but that's the sensation that you want, right? Grow through your spine, lengthen with just a little bit of a back bend. And downward facing dog. Come on back. Good. So feel the difference just a little bit, right? Not really focusing on the back bending element, more on the lengthening element of that pose. Okay, let's take that right foot. Brief three-legged. Bring it through. Base of your lunge. Lower down to your back knee. Untuck your toes. Your right foot, inch it forward some. Good. So nice deep lunge. We're going to be practicing that crescent Anjaneyasana lunge. So bring your hands on up overhead, and there's a back bending element to this where we come on back, right? But don't just collapse into that low back, seeking to lengthen, grow that heart upward. Breathe. Can you tilt hinge back just a little bit more? Left hand comes down inside of that foot. Good job. Repositioning your right foot if you need to. Right hand comes on up overhead to a sting. How's your breath? And go ahead and bring that hand on down. We are coming back into downward facing dog. Excellent. Anytime you're in that down dog, moving things around. Weight shifts forward into plank. You can modify onto your knees, heels to your glutes. Roll your shoulders back, lowering part way out into chaturanga. Release your legs, grow, lengthen, create space in up dog. Downward facing dog. Good work. Okay, from here, taking that left foot, bring it on up in between your feet. You can lower down to your back knee. Maybe bring this left foot up just a little bit. Good. Okay, hands up overhead for that crescent lunge, adding that gentle back bend element into it. Very gently hinging backward. Breathe. You've got it. Stay with it. Right hand comes down inside of that foot. Good. Maybe you reposition that left foot just a little bit. Twisting left hand up overhead. Steady focus breath. You've got it. And bringing that hand down, framing your foot. Go ahead and come on back into downward facing dog. Good work. Okay, take that right foot, bring it through base of your lunge, and then step your back left heel up just a little bit so you can ground it down for a warrior one position. So if your stance is relatively shallow, that's okay. Hands on your hips, hips square with the front. Breathe. Good. Okay. This is a transition we did on Morning Coffee Flow, I think episode 15 maybe. We're just coming in from Warrior 1 into Goddess. So just pivot on over into Goddess pose, making sure your knees are stacked relatively above your heels. Good. Making those cactus arms. Good. Now, a lot of the time in our Goddess pose, we have a tendency to stick that butt out. And so rather than doing that, engaging your inner thighs a little bit, rolling your shoulders back, lengthening, and your butt's going to stick out naturally just a little bit, but that's okay. Hands on your hips, pivot back into warrior one. Good. Arms up overhead. And hands come on down, downward facing dog. Come on back. Good work. Okay. Weight shifts forward into plank pose. You can do your chaturanga and then lowering out, up dog. Remember, lengthening, grow, 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 rather than just bending on back. And eventually, tuck your toes. Come on back. Downward facing dog. Good. Okay. Left foot. Brief three-legged. Bring it through. Place it in between your hands. Step up that back heel for the base of warrior one. Hands on your hips, kind of getting your bearings here. Good. All right. And then as you like, pivoting on those heels, coming into your goddess pose. Rather than sticking your butt out so much, rather creating some length, engaging those inner thighs. Butt's going to stick out a little bit, but that's okay. Hands on your hips, and then go ahead and pivot into warrior one. Coming on back. Good. Arms up overhead. Strong warrior one. Fierce warrior. You've got it. And hands come on down. Downward facing dog. Excellent work. Okay, just lower down to your knees. Brief thunderbolt. Stopping over at your beverage station for a quick sip of water. Okay, so now what's important is talking about camel pose again. We did it last class. We're going to do it this class. But I want to give you a mantra that you've maybe heard before in my classes that really helps you to not collapse into your lower back. So this is all about safe back bends, right? So come up onto your knees, base of your camel pose. Good. Maybe placing two fists in between your knees so that you know that you are hips distance. Hands on your hips. Okay, so rather than placing your fingertips down, which encourages your shoulders to roll forward, maybe just making fists and bringing them in at your low back. It's kind of the happy medium. Okay, first of all, bring your eye gaze up and then just pause right here. So refrain from looking over at the video if you can. Just stay here, eye gaze is up. Do not bend back yet, but breathe. Be comfortable in your breath. Not even coming into camel yet, just staying here with your eye gaze up. Breath is always the first thing to go in our back bends. So we want to be very comfortable with our breath. You've got it. Okay, we're going to take this bit by bit, moving only maybe an inch at a time. So here is your mantra so that you do not collapse into your low back. We create space through our spine. That is the key. So helping promote that safe back bend. Okay, inhale, heart open. Exhale, just by a little bit, hinge back. Pause. Good. Stay here. So you should not even be in too intense of a camel at all. You should be able to stay here for a while. So notice what happens on your next inhale when you lift your heart. You're creating space through your entire spine. You're helping that thoracic mid-back flexibility. Good. Exhale, you can hinge back a tiny bit. Good. Pause here. So if there's any tension in your low back, it always helps when you inhale, heart open, creating that space. Exhale, hinge back. Inhale, heart open. Exhale, hinge back. Inhale, heart open. Exhale, hinge back. And coming back to neutral, releasing, coming out of your camel. It's a lot to kind of stay in that, I know, but bring your hands on down, bring your knees together, sitting on back. Now, camel is a lot on your low back, I know, but hopefully you kind of were feeling that lengthening in space and kind of relief in your low back when you would open up that heart and kind of force that mid-back flexibility, if that makes sense. From here, child's pose. Forehead comes on down, relax, counteracting that intense back bend. Arms can be up in front of you, arms can be down beside you, wherever you like. Okay, gently counteracting that back bend. Good job. All right, from here we are coming into cobra. So go ahead, come on out, and then placing your hands down by your sides, just laying on your belly, because we need to talk about how to safely do our cobra pose. I have a great posture explanation video on this as well, definitely on my YouTube channel, a couple of them. But for now, just really focusing on the health of that lower back. So just laying on down. If your low back is totally spent and you can't do any more, maybe just hanging out in Sphinx pose, that's cool, no problem. Just stay here and breathe, you're okay. In Cobra, come on down. We often talk about keeping our hands by our pecs. Like you hear instructors say, thumbs in line with your nipples, because that's where you will position your hands to kind of have things back. Now the problem with this is when you push up, you come into a pretty intense back bend right away. And so if you bring your hands forward some, almost into a sphinx pose position, but not really, you can kind of throttle how intense of a back bend you do. So gently push the earth away from you, pubic bone stays on the mat, pushing the earth away from you, pubic bone stays on the mat. Good. Breathe and set it on down. Release. I'm not going to stay there too long because we're going to do it again. So just breathe, focus. Maybe repositioning your hands. Maybe you put them too far forward. Maybe you had them too far back still, wherever you like. Remember, pubic bone stays on the mat and we breathe. Go ahead and push the earth away from you. Raising into that cobra. Good. And release. Come on down. Good. Excellent job. So see, it makes it a little bit easier to kind of throttle things. Okay, we did a lot on that low back, I know. So just go ahead and roll over onto your side. Bring your knees on up into your chest, hugging them on in our fetal pose. So just stay here, breathe, dissolve, relax. Those back bends can be intense, but the things we do to counteract and rest from those back bends just as equally as important. Good. Okay, go ahead and roll over onto your back for our Shavasana. Still got a couple of back bending postures to do, but it's okay. We'll get through it all. Brief Shavasana, feet fall out, arms fall out. Just relax. So we see a lot of people doing wheel pose, how I talked about earlier. So, and having that, extreme bend in your lower back. So we're going to practice that today a little bit. If you cannot do wheel, that's totally fine, substituting for bridge and kind of playing there. Either way, we're going to start off in bridge. So place your feet flat on the earth, palms down beside you, and go ahead and lift those hips up. And so you'll notice that already, if you place your hand maybe on your lower back, there's that gentle curve there. But if you lift your hips more and more and more, there's more of that curve right in your bridge. Maybe you can waddle those shoulder blades in, lifting that heart a little bit. Puts a little tension on your neck if you push it too much, so be careful. And release. Coming on down. Okay, so if you want to do another bridge, excellent. If you want to try your wheel, go ahead. Wheel is difficult, I know, and it's hard to try to troubleshoot it when it's already a difficult pose. But, this is where you're headed as you become better and better in your yoga practice. Fingertips down by your sides. Waddle things in a little bit. Okay, when you are ready, lifting into wheel. Good. So, probably lots of bending in that lower back, right? That's okay. But go ahead and kind of play, move around a bit, maybe trying to lift your heart a little bit more. And release. On down. Good. It's hard. It's difficult, I know, because you really are used to bending in that low back. But the biggest thing is trying to lift your heart, create space so you get more thoracic flexibility. Go ahead and heel toe your feet together. Knees drop on out for our bound angle. Just breathe, just relax. Maybe bring your arms up overhead. Feels good. Go ahead and do that. Just relax. And as you wish, you may bring those legs on down, coming into your final Shavasana. Feet fall out, arms fall out. Relax, letting go, and just breathe. When you are done, with your Shavasana, you can gently push on up into that seated position so we can bow together. Very, very, very good job today on your practice promoting those safe back bends. So those are kind of the two elements that we'll be talking about more in this series, which is that thoracic flexibility, lifting that heart, creating space, and helping that arc in that mid back as well, not just creating that the curve in your low back. And then also about always creating space through our spine. Two big themes we'll be talking about throughout this entire challenge series.
And now it is the best part of class where we set our intention into motion, but we have already done it. We have already focused on those safe back bends and creating that space in our thoracic spine. So, good job just being cognizant of your mid back as well in your yoga practice. And before we go, here are your next 2 steps. First thing is first, be sure to jot down a time of when you're going to do your next practice. Day 3 will be coming at you tomorrow. And for you, my YouTube subscribers, this is the end of the road, but it does not have to be. You can hop on the free challenge, link below in the description, to continue on to at least day 3 to kind of get a taster of how the challenges go on my website. So open the description below, find the link there, and hop on in. Thank you for being here for day 2. I greatly appreciate it. I will see you very soon in the next challenge. Thank you for being here, not just showing up for this challenge, but showing up for yourself as well. I will see you soon, and namaste.